Well, good morning, everybody. Good to see you this Sunday morning. All the young people have gone to Sunday school. We're going to continue in the series we've been doing on love. True love is exploring those different qualities of love that we found from the first chapter of Corinthians, the first book of Corinthians. So here's from Father Moon. Father Moon emphasized true love. The purpose of all religions is to reach the world of true love. And elsewhere he says, we are born for the sake of love, we live for the sake of love, and finally we die for the sake of love. And these are the verses from the letters from Paul to the Corinthians, the first Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. So that's the topic we're going to cover today. True love is not easily angered. Now, this sermon is actually, I'm taking some notes from one by Rick Warren that actually Eric gave a number of years back. Love is not easily angered. So if you hear some jokes that you've heard before, please go ahead and laugh again. You know, I'd appreciate it. But let's start out with just some of the fun statistics about anger, right? Let's see how many of these you can guess. So, women. An average woman, and I know it's up and down, the average woman loses her temper 3 times a week. Yeah? Some of you say, that's way too low. Oh, maybe that's way too high. So, well, how about men? What do you think it is for men? No, 6 times, right? Double the women. Men tend to lose their tempers 6 times as many times as men. Well, how about women get more angry at people? How about men? They get more angry at stuff, things, machines, and cars, and stuff like that. So, how about single people versus married people? Well, single people express anger twice as often as married adults. Now that's interesting, huh? Maybe we get more practice at home. Married adults work it out more. Or, hopefully, as a married couple, we've developed some skills so we don't need to express ourselves that way. We're better, more effective at communicating. Well, the last one, this makes sense. Men are far more physical than women. You know, guys were more likely to kick things and throw something. So, finally, we're more likely to express anger at home than we are, say, at work or in the shopping center, because all that, the other places are embarrassing. At home, you can let it all out, right? We're more likely to express it at home. So, when we get angry, there's a number of interesting things. And I took this from Reader's Digest. Just a quick summary of some of the biological things that happen to us when we get angry. Number one is the brains, the rational parts of our brains, like the prefrontal lobes or something like that, they shut down. It's like, turn off. And what turns on are the reflexive areas of our brain, the instinctual survival part of our brains. Like, whoa, So our logic goes off and our survival mechanism goes on, right? High power. Then what happens is that our hormones and our chemicals are injected in our bloodstream. Our heart beats faster, more blood flow. We get ready for action, right? That's what happens physiologically in our body. And the blood flow to the stomach is cut off, and more energy goes to the muscles of our body. Well, what we're doing is the body is getting ready to do something, right? To fight, flight, to do something. That's what anger does. Now, the challenge is that this is a very healthy and natural way. It's the way God designed our bodies. Problem is if we do this on and on, it's like leaving your car and never changing gears, right? Driving in first gear all the way, you're going to wear it out pretty fast. Our bodies are not designed to run on this overload for long periods of time. So statistically, angry people are 3 times more likely to have a heart attack than people who are more calm. Just because you're working the body in an unhealthy way, right? So, let's understand a little bit more about anger. Anger is an automatic response. It's the way our survival impulse, God designed us that way. It's not inherently bad. It's good. God made it that way. God wants us to be able to mobilize energy quickly and power and so on. The challenge is, what are we mobilizing that energy to do? That energy should be mobilized. Let's make a change. Anger comes because something in our environment is not right, and we want to change it. So energy is mobilized for the purpose of addressing that. That's what anger is. Problem is we get over-amped on that. We easily trigger that anger mechanism more often than we want, than is healthy. Here's a quote from Father Moon. He says, there are two types of conflicts, just like types of anger. One is conflict in which everything is sacrificed in order to protect selfish purposes and desires. This kind of conflict is on Satan's side. While conflict with the purpose of bringing good to the world, to the universe, or to God are conflicts on the side of goodness. So let's look a little bit detail into the things that trigger this anger response, the causes of anger in our bodies. The first one, the most common we all experience, is hurt. We get physically hurt or emotionally hurt. You can think about it. I'm in the backyard. I'm having fun, hammering away on my project, right? And then, bam, I hammer my finger. It's like, ah! Immediately, a lot of energy is generated, right? I become extremely angry. I scream. I yell. Who am I mad at? I'm mad at that hammer. And you know what I do? I take that hammer and I throw it in the neighbor's yard, right? Boy, that solved the problem, didn't it? No. I'm probably angry at myself, because I wasn't paying attention. So if I focus the anger on myself, then I can correct it. Okay, let's focus now, deal with that pain, right, the hurt, and let me pay more attention, be more careful. Throwing it, that's a way of dealing with anger, but it doesn't solve the problem, right? Also, though, it's not just physical hurt, it's emotional hurt as well. When we feel emotional hurt, when we feel like we've been wronged by someone, we tend to get angry, right? Someone disrespected me, right? That's keeping the focus on me, right? My selfish purpose. Now, if I am emotionally upset because I see evil happening in the world or something wrong, I feel hurt, just like God feels hurt whenever God sees his children suffering. Well, anger at that, mobilizing energy to address that, that's a different quality. See, it could be either good or bad. Is it for selfish purposes or is it for a larger, higher purpose? Now, the other thing is we tend to want to blame things. Like, that hammer, it's the hammer's fault. I'm blaming the hammer, blaming the hammer for my anger or for my pain, right? If I take responsibility, I have a lot more power to deal with it. Well, the second general cause of anger is fear in our life. Fear is a survival instinct, right? Fight or flight. There's energy going, And the problem is we sometimes feel fear when it's really not a valid reason to be afraid. The most common one has to do with our own feeling of security. When I am not secure in myself, confident in myself, when I feel insecure, especially if I'm depending on other people around me to give me a sense of self-worth and value, I feel good because this person liked me. Well, if this person is in a bad mood and doesn't like me that day, that decreases my feeling of self-worth. I'm upset, I lose power, and I can get angry. Fear is triggered when we feel threatened. Something threatens me, threatens my position, my respectability, or I feel trapped in a situation, or I feel like someone's attacking me. Maybe they're saying, oh, I don't like the way your hair looks. Oh, I feel attacked. I'm threatened, my value. I'm trapped. I can't do anything about my hair until I go home and cut it off, right? Trapped, threatened, or attacked, maybe it's just all in our head. But still, when we feel that fear, then that mobilizes angry responses. I might respond to that person who's made a comment, just an innocent comment about, your hair. But it turns into a whole big affair, an angry response from me. The more insecure we are, the more likely we're to have angry outbursts. The truth is the only place we can really feel safe and comfortable is in our relationship with God, our Heavenly Parent. That's where the solution to fear is that relationship with God. Because God is the one who's going to love us no matter what. Even if God tells us, you're having a bad hair day, because it's coming from God, it's like, oh, yeah, He loves me. God loves me. This is where we need to focus. So fear, perfect love casts out fear. And that perfect love is going to come from our relationship with God, our Heavenly Parent. So the third way that we that causes anger is when we experience frustration in our life. That's when a goal that we have is thwarted. We're blocked in accomplishing this goal. I don't play golf, but if I did, I'm out in the golf course, got my golf club, right? My nice, new, fancy, expensive golf club set. And I'm ready, and I hit the ball and straight towards the tee, but it doesn't go towards the hole. It goes off into the bushes, and I can't even find it. Well, what's what should I do? I should take that $500 golf club. I should smash it over because it hit wrong, right? I should break it and throw it in the lake, right? That'll solve my problem, right? No. But that's an angry response because that golf club frustrated my effort to get a hole-in-one, right? That evil golf club, right? No. It's okay to feel frustrated. I want to do well, right? I wanted to hit that hole-in-one, right? I can feel frustrated, but the frustration, if I focus it on the club, I'm missing the point. Nothing I can do to this club is going to improve that swing. But if that frustration looked, okay, how can I improve and pay more attention, practice more, discipline myself more? Those are the things that can make a change. So if I turn that frustration to dealing with that. Now, frustration is also something that happens a lot when we tend to want to control things. That desire is, I like if I'm in control, then everything's going to be okay, right? Control. Problem is, we have very little genuine control in our lives. Ever gone to the Department of Motor Vehicles and stood in line? How frustrating, right? I'm standing in line, I'm waiting. Can I do anything about that? Oh yeah, I can jump up and down, I can scream, but that's probably not going to get me any faster, right? So in our lives, we have lots of times when we're frustrated in accomplishing our goal, but mostly it has the areas that we don't have genuine control. When we feel like we have to have control, people who have high control issues, they tend to be more angry people because in life, we often don't have control. So here's an example. Most of his experiences, especially those of parents, and actually Peter Meaford probably know this very well. How about you're up late at night, you haven't hardly been sleeping, because what do you have? You have a crying baby. And the baby is crying, and you're picking the baby up, and you're walking around, you're doing everything you can think of, but the baby keeps crying. It's quite frustrating. It's kind of painful too, because it's like, I feel helpless. What can I do? And kind of afraid what's going on. And, I don't know, maybe you haven't experienced it, but I certainly have, and I think many of us do, is at some point, I get angry at that baby. Why don't you just stop crying? Have you ever done that? You probably have. Your kids, stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about, right? It's like, I can't control that situation. So what am I going to do? I'm going to express my anger to try to do something. Does that work? No. The truth is what it does, it gives me a feeling of guilt. I feel really guilty because why am I getting angry at this helpless baby, right? Well, it's because I'm trying to control something I can't. What I do need to do is, be with the baby, So keep experimenting. Don't give up patience. That's where we really stretch and learn patience, right, as a parent with our young children, young babies. But these feelings of frustration, of fear, of being hurt, they trigger these responses, automatic responses in us. Now, it's useful for us to pay attention to that, because not only recognizing what's causing it in my own life, but also when someone comes at us who's angry or upset, if we can look and see, well, what's happening with them? Trying to look from God's perspective. Is there some kind of hurt that they're feeling? Physical or emotional? Is there some kind of fear? Are they feeling threatened or trapped or attacked for some reason? Or are they feeling frustrated? All these things are things that we can look at to try to understand what might be happening to that person. So, how do we deal once that energy is being mobilized? That anger energy, that extra energy to address a situation or problem? What can we do? So here's just a few points on how we can manage it. Take control of it. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to decide, long before we ever get into the situation of anger, we need to resolve and determine that I'm going to be in control. I'm not just going to let it fly off the handle. I decide beforehand, I am going to own it. I'm going to take responsibility for it. None of this, I can't control it. That person made me angry, right? Have you ever heard that? Oh, she made me hit her. Brothers and sisters fighting. They made me do it. Let's change that thinking and that language. We are the owners. We are responsible. They can't make us angry. Anger is how we respond to what they're doing. They may do something that's, should stop. But they didn't make us angry. Angry is how we responded to it. So if we own it, and if we take responsibility, we have the power to choose, am I going to be angry or not? Here's a great example. Maybe you've had the experience being home, and there's a disagreement. Mom and Dad are kind of disagreeing about something, and the voices are getting louder and louder, and it's like, ah! And the phone rings. So someone picks up the phone and says, oh, hi, this is Charles speaking. Oh, you want to speak to Eleanor? Honey, it's for you. Right? And turn the light switch off and on. Instantly, we controlled our anger, right? Well, largely because they didn't want to be embarrassed, right? I wanted to put up a good face for everybody else. I wouldn't want them to know a pastor is arguing. So, But in our lives, we have the power to control this. And anytime we pretend or say we don't, like they made me do it, it's not my fault. That hammer, it's the hammer's fault. That golf club, it's the golf club. That person, it's their fault. We're giving it up. So if we, from the beginning, resolve and determine, I am the owner, I am responsible for it, and I'm going to manage it, and I'm not going to manage it just by myself, I'm going to manage it with God. Because God is always with us. God is our partner. We don't need to do things alone. God is always with us and wants to partner with us. God is excited to be part of our lives. It's so exciting for God to see us when we're doing amazing things with our lives. So we determine beforehand, long before the situation arises, because honestly speaking, once you're already in the situation, it's like, okay, should I get angry or not? Oh, let me think. No. Oh, should I get angry or not? Well, I've already decided beforehand that I'm not going to explode. Right? I've already decided. Then we have power to truly manage it. So next, in order to give us more power in that resolve to manage it with God at the center, we need to, here's a quote from Proverbs just to remind us. A fool gives vent to his anger, but a wise man keeps himself under control. So rather than just venting and exploding, we're going to keep control, and we're going to use that energy, that angry energy, for a good heavenly purpose. So to do that, the second point is we need to know what our purpose is, right? We need to have our focus on, why should I resolve my anger? Why should I manage it? Why? Well, what's the most important thing? What's the purpose of life?
Joy.
Yay! Yes, the purpose of life is joy. And how do we get there? Through love. Through loving others, through loving God. We find joy through making a positive difference in the world around us. So what's our purpose? Is in any relationship, in any situation, we want to make a positive difference. We want to make things better. That's our purpose. So when we're in the middle of a situation and being challenged, if I remember, what's my purpose? My purpose is to feel good as soon as I can. Right? Actually, a lot of people, that's what we do. Oh, as soon as I can, I just want to feel comfortable. So, blah! Right? So let me just get off this stress and let it all out. No, if my purpose is to bring joy, to bring love, to bring God's presence into any situation, circumstance, if I remember that purpose, then I have a reason, a purpose, a motivation to control myself. I get to choose, self-satisfaction, immediate gratification, or my heavenly purpose, my divine purpose in life. Venting is self-centered. Venting our anger, just expressing my anger like crazy. And, let's be honest. In the short term, venting can feel good, right? Man, I got all this stress. I've been so upset, and I just, let it all out. Oh, boy, that felt so good. I really let them have it, right? I got revenge. I showed them, right? Feels good. And, also as parents, sometimes we use anger to help control our kids, right? It's like, yeah, get in your room, right? Anger there, get some action, right? Whoa, get you some effect. But the challenge is, even though there's like these short-term benefits, releasing my stress, that felt so good, and maybe I get obedience initially. The long-term result's not so good, not so good. Truthfully, the more I express anger, the more I generate anger. The more likely I'm to get anger in a response. With a young kid, that's okay. But, as our young people grow older, if you try to pull that trick on them, how are they going to respond? Well, they're going to give you a 1-for-1, Well, I'll see you too, You're angry at me, well, I'll get even angrier at you, right? Anger just multiplies. It doesn't increase unity. It doesn't create harmony. It doesn't give us what we want, especially in the long term. And even if it is successful in browbeating and dominating someone, the result is you get apathy on the other person's side. They just, I don't care. They're going to be angry no matter what I say. I don't care, And really, you lose that relationship. The alienation means you get separated from that person. So while in the short run it may have felt good and you may have been able to control them, but in the long run, you lose that relationship. That most important, purpose of being a loving relationship with others is lost in the long run. So short-term benefits are not what we're looking for. We're looking for the long-term gain. We want to bring healing, loving relationships in our lives. Great expression. When you always lose when you lose your temper. Right? Isn't that a good line? You always lose when you lose your temper. When you lose your temper, you're more likely to get into more arguments and fights and disagreements. You're more likely to make mistakes. We get stupid when we're angry, when we're dominated by our emotions and anger. We do foolish things. We do all kinds of stupid things in our life. We lose and destroy relationships when we indulge in anger. We can lose respect. We can lose our job. When something we're trying to work on, a purpose, a mission that we have, we can completely blow that if we allow anger, just venting anger, to be our guiding practice. So, resolve to manage it with God at the center. Already, for a long time before any angry situations possibly occur, we've already made that decision. And also, we have our clear purpose. Why am I here in all my relationships? So, now, when we actually get into the situation, right, where the energy's getting stirred up, I'm getting upset, something's happening here, what we do in the middle of the situation, we pause. The pause that refreshes, right? We pause before we act. I think it's Thomas Jefferson is the one who's quoted. Count to 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We count to 10 before you do something, right? Think before we act. Now, when we say pause before reacting, this is not in any way to say, it shouldn't go more than 24 hours. If you pause it too long, then what happens is it turns into resentment and it turns into bitterness and poison in our life. We don't want that. So when I'm talking about pausing, I'm trying to just collect my thoughts, get grounded, and during that pause, we should look back at number 1 and number 2, right? What is my resolve? I've already made a decision about this. My decision is that I'm not going to blow up. I'm going to manage this. I'm going to channel my energy in a good, positive way. And also, I have a pause to think about what is my purpose here. What do I really want in this conversation, in this situation? I want a loving, healing relationship. I want to make a positive difference. Whatever's going on, I want to make a positive difference. So by doing that, we get ourselves grounded again. Because the first place we go when we get angry, if we don't pause, is it's all about me. I'm upset. You're bothering me. You're making me feel uncomfortable. You're doing me, right? That's the first place we go. So if we stop ourselves, count to 10, count to 100 if you need to, walk away if you need to, whatever you need, take a break, but get centered. What's my real purpose? It's not just about me being comfortable. It's about me experiencing joy, and that joy is going to come through my relationship here. So pause before reacting. Look at why am I feeling this? Am I feeling hurt? Am I feeling frustrated? Am I feeling fear, insecure about something? Check myself. Get grounded and centered on, again, God, my heavenly purpose, and look at things from God's perspective. Then, after I've paused and grounded myself, connected with God, Heavenly Parent, all right, here we are, God. Ground myself, then we can look to channel that energy in a constructive way. Channeling it. So here's from St. Paul. It says, if you become angry, don't let your anger lead you into sin. We need to use that energy. The energy is there for a good purpose, to give us power to bring change in the situation, in the environment. But there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. How do we express that anger? Now, there's lots of theories, lots of approaches. We all have different approaches to how we deal with anger. So let's look at some of these ways that we channel anger in our lives. The first 3 I don't recommend. We do it a lot, but we don't want to do these. So first is we suppress it. What does that mean? Suppress means I stuff it inside. I swallow it. I take it in. It's like taking a soda, shake it up like this. Right? What's happening? It's building up pressure inside. When we suppress our anger that way, just like shove it down, what happens is it leaks out. It leaks out. I have a fight or I'm angry or something at home. I go to work. I'm going to have a bad time with my fellow workers. I'll get angry for something that has nothing to do with them because I didn't resolve it at home. If I just suppress it, it shows up all over the place in bad ways. So suppressing it, no. That's not the way to do it. Don't stuff it in. Don't stuff it. Now, the other approach that people take is they repress it. Now, what's the difference between suppressing and repressing? Again, suppress means stuff. Repress means deny it. No, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Just pretend, I'm not angry. If we repress emotions long enough, what happens is it leads us to being depressed people. Repression, I control my emotions, I push them, I hide them, I deny them. Then in life, I can be a person with much less energy, much less life. All that energy that God gave us, there's something that needs to change. Energy is, if I just deny it and repress it, then I'm killing that power, that good power that God gave me. I'm killing it. So we don't want to repress it. No to repressing our anger. Now, the third way, and the one that we're pretty familiar with, is let's vent it. Let's get it all out, right? I mean, there's a whole range of therapies built around, beat on that pillow, primal scream. Let's just, you gotta yell it out, right? No. It's so easy to want, the first thing we want to do is just explode. Now, we all have different ways of venting our anger, right? Explosion, the volcanic explosion, that, we're pretty familiar with, right? Just someone can't take it anymore, bam, and they explode. Now, there's other sneakier ways to do that too, So how can I vent this anger I'm feeling? Sarcasm is such an effective tool to give that, that passive-aggressive, kind of stab them with a knife, with that sarcastic comment or something. Oh, I'm releasing my anger by stabbing her in the back, I didn't explode. I was very sophisticated, and calm about it, right? As I vent that anger in a sarcastic or destructive way. Or, I just get revenge, right? I'm gonna turn all that anger into, okay, how I'm gonna blow up their birthday cake, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get back at them, I'm gonna get revenge. Well, all kinds of styles, right, on how we can vent it, or how about this one? When I'm really angry, what do? I pout. I'm gonna manipulate you. I'm gonna use my energy and my anger to pout until I get you to do what I want, right? There's a lot of energy there. You get that? When we're angry, there's lots of energy. And that's good. God's given us lots of power when we're in a situation that needs to be changed, where something is wrong, or at least we perceive that something's wrong. A lot of energy is generated. But if we just vent it in these destructive ways, then we're not causing good things to happen. We're actually causing damage to our physical body. If we suppress it, repress it, or even vent it, we're actually damaging our health. And we're not making that positive difference in the world that we want to be making. That who we really are. So, how about some positive ways to deal with it? So remember, don't suppress it. Don't just stuff it. Don't deny it. Don't repress it. Don't just vent it or, explode or get it out, get revenge, get it out on other people. No. So instead, number one, let's own it. Let's just take responsibility. This anger, these feelings, these are mine. Somebody didn't make me angry. As soon as I say, oh, they made me angry, I become a victim, right? And when I'm a victim, I have no control, I have no power. If I own my anger, if I own this, it's mine, I'm responding to the situation. So, when I own it, then I can look, okay, what's going on? Why? Right? We look at those reasons. Am I feeling hurt? Am I feeling insecure or fearful? Am I feeling frustrated about something? We can identify that, own it, and gain power over that situation. When we own it, when we take responsibility, we gain power. As soon as we blame someone else for my anger, for those feelings, I give away my power. I lose the power that's there for a good reason to help us address that. Now, sometimes when we own it, we have to recognize that, I'm getting angry over something that's not real. That happens a lot, right? I get angry over because this person disrespected me, right? And so I get angry. Well, if I own that, so who am I? Did that person said something bad about me? Is that true? Is that who I really am? I know who I am because I'm God's child. I have a self-confidence that I can deal with that. When I own these feelings, I gain power over them. And then, who's our partner? God is our partner all the time. So then I can take that energy and channel it. Look at, what do I want to have happen? What's my purpose here? My purpose is to make a positive difference in this relationship, in this situation. If I'm feeling angry about what's going on, sometimes it's healthy just to say, hey, I'm feeling really angry about this. Something's not right here. We have to fix something. that energy can be used and channeled to addressing that. And then there's power. There's incredible power that we have that we can focus, especially when we partner with God. Heavenly Parent, I'm just going crazy here. Maybe you don't say that to everybody around. Just say inside, God, I'm going crazy here. I'm feeling really angry. I get that it's mine. How can I best make a difference in this circumstance, in this situation right now? What can I do? When we partner with God, amazing things can happen. God wants to be with us all the time. God is present with us all the time. The thing is, we usually close the door. I got to listen to that right now. God works through our conscience. A lot of times our conscience will guide us and help us understand what we can do to make a positive difference and a positive change in the circumstance or the situation. God is always with us. And applying that energy to resolving a hurt, a fear, insecurity, or some kind of frustration because we're not making it towards a goal or a purpose that we have, that power is there for us to be able to make a difference in the world, to love more, and to build God's kingdom, the heavenly kingdom on earth. I want to offer up this words from Father Moon. This actually comes from one of Father Moon's prayers. Father Moon's praying, he says, they spat on us and they pressed us into the margins. However, we are neither resentful nor angry at what they've done to us. When we consider the abuses you, speaking about God, our Heavenly Parent, the abuses you have suffered, we can hardly bear the pain. However, you have endured for many, many years, and you have commanded us today to light a new beacon before the people who betrayed us. Therefore, we cannot help but offer you our gratitude for your love. God's love is the source of all of our strength, is the source of all of our power. God's calling us to be those beacons of light, those people that bring into any circumstance, any situation, God's love, God's presence, to be the people who make a positive difference. So when we're dealing with that energy, that angry energy, we stand on a foundation of, I've already committed. I'm not going to blow up at people. I'm not going to channel that anger in negative ways. I've already decided that beforehand. I have a clear purpose to make a difference in this relationship, to be a positive, to bring God's love and presence into this circumstance, into this situation, to help forward God's kingdom building. When I'm in the situation, take time, pause myself, and make sure I ground myself in my connection with God as my Heavenly Parent, my partner in managing it, remembering my purpose to love, and then channeling that anger in a constructive way. Not suppressing it, not repressing it, not, exploding or venting it to others, but channeling that energy into a powerful, positive force for change, for goodness, and for healing and reconciliation. Please join me in prayer. Good morning, Father, Mother God, our loving Heavenly Parent. We are so grateful for your presence in our lives, and we know that you long so much to see healing in this world, and there's so many circumstances, so many situations that cause you incredible pain and incredible anger. Heavenly Parent, we want to have our anger be in line with your anger, and not just venting or doing destructive things with that anger, but using that anger as a power for our commitment to bringing your love, your healing, your change in our environment and the world around us. Heavenly Parent, in this moment, each one of us, we want to just offer ourselves again to you. We know that there's different circumstances when we feel like anger might get the best of us. Heavenly Parent, we offer ourselves again to you, to determine to be partners with you. Please help us remember that you are always with us, so that when we face these challenges or these situations, things that do need to be changed, correct, healed, fixed, that Heavenly Parent, we remember your presence, your love, and that we can be your force of love in multiplying goodness in the world. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for the hope we have, the vision we have because of you, because of our true parents, and because of the blessing that we have in our lives. So as your sons and daughters and as blessed central families, we offer up this prayer. Amen and adieu. So everyone, please share with each other about dealing with anger in constructive and productive ways.